Okay, the time is now 6 p.m. Our regular city council meeting for August 5th, 2025 is now in session. And first on the agenda is Councilmember Guerrero will lead us with the opening prayer and the pledges of allegiance to the flags of the United States and the state of Texas. Please rise.
Lord, we ask for strength, courage, and wisdom for each one of us to make the best decisions for our city. Please watch over this entire city council meeting as we all work together towards resolution of existing challenges and or issues for the best interest of our residents. We worship you, Lord, as we accept your Son, Jesus Christ, our Savior. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Councilmember Guerrero. All right. First on the agenda, we have the appointment of the Mayor Pro Tem. The Mayor Pro Tem is selected by the council here. And next on the rotation is Councilmember Tim Brown. And with that, I'd like to entertain a motion to appoint.
Mayor, make a motion to appoint Tim Brown as the new Mayor Pro Tem.
Second.
A motion made by Councilmember Hayward and second by Councilmember Watson. Council, any discussion? Please cast your vote. Oh. All right, I'm looking for seven. Okay. If we can go ahead and publish the vote. We have 6 ayes, no objections, motion passes. All right, next we have the oath of office. If Councilmember Brown will step up to the podium and our Deputy City Secretary, Ms. Kearney, will administer the oath.
Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Timothy C. Brown,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Mayor Pro Tem
of the office of Mayor Pro Tem,
of the City of Schertz,
City of Schertz,
and will do the best of my ability,
and will do to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Brown. All right, we'll move on. Next, we have employee recognitions. First is Neighborhood Services.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, Mr. Williams. I'd like to introduce our newest code enforcement officer. It's Justin Langford. He comes to us from the city of San Antonio, where he worked 2 years as a code enforcement officer, also working on the salvage yard and zoning teams. He patrolled District 5, which is the southwest area of downtown, so he comes to us with lots of experience. He served in the U.S. Army for 4 years and an additional 4 years in the National Guard. He graduated from San Antonio College with a degree in applied science and St. Mary's University with a degree in criminology. Criminology, right? I throw in an extra N in there. He was born in Fort Benning, Georgia, but raised here in San Antonio. He has 2 sons, ages 6 and 11, and his hobbies are working out and anything sports related. His teams, and I'm not going to hold this against him, are the Seahawks and the Spurs. He also cheers on any Texas college football team. I'd like to present Justin Langford.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Well, welcome to our team.
Thank you.
Next, we have Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. How are y'all doing today? Fantastic. This evening, I have the two newest employees with the Water and Wastewater Division of Public Works. They're both worker ones. I have Robert Linares, and he'll be able to pronounce that a little better than I can, honestly, and Anthony Luna. I'm going to introduce both of them, and then I'll let them come up and talk. Robert, he's from Phoenix, Arizona, and he came out here to work in the great city of Schertz. He loves to play guitar, basketball, and volleyball. He's excited about this new career. He gets to learn things that he can use outside of work. His favorite book is the Bible. He listens to a little bit of country music. When he's not working, he likes to get together with friends and family, and if he could, he would take his wife to Italy. And that is Robert. Anthony Luna, here on my left, from Seguin, Texas. He likes fishing, hunting, and camping. Yes. He likes watching cops and barbecue cooking shows, loves listening to country music, and if he could, he would take a trip to Japan. So if y'all could help me welcome these two, Robert and Anthony.
Thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure to be a part of the city of Schertz.
Well, welcome to our team.
Thank you for the opportunity, and hopefully, it'll mean for the best.
Well, welcome to our team, gentlemen. Thanks. Next, we have the announcements of upcoming events. Ms. Gonzalez?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This will be short, so there are no scheduled city events between now and the next council meeting. So we will be here on Tuesday, August 19th at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Next, we have announcements and recognitions by our city manager, Mr. Williams.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. We got 3 promotions this month. We had Oscar Medina was promoted from Senior IT Support Specialist to Systems Administrator. Danny Castro was promoted from Police Officer to Sergeant. And Benjamin Ecomo made a big career move too. He was promoted from Public Safety Communications Officer to Police Cadet. So congrats to all 3 of those folks. And oh, I'm sorry, and I almost forgot, last but not least, Lizzie Bertolia is now the director, or she was promoted to director of the library from senior librarian. So she just started in August 1st and replaced Melissa Yulhorn, who is our long-term library director. So congratulations to all of them for their outstanding work. Had a few announcements from the police department today. So last week, I had the pleasure of going up to College Station with our police folks. The Texas Crime Prevention Association awarded the Schertz Police Department 4 statewide awards. One is Outstanding Crime Prevention Agency for all the small agencies, Outstanding Media Award, and that was for print media, and that was for our Public Affairs Department, Outstanding Corporate/Business Award, and that was our Schertz Cibolo Emergency Clinic, an Outstanding Crime Prevention Manager, and that was our own Chief Lowry. So also, Anna Kraft has been selected to serve on the Board of Directors for TPCA as the 3rd Vice President. Also, the city of Schertz was named the #1 safest suburb in the San Antonio area, and the 87th in the nation. And that's, we were followed by some others in the area, Bernie at 131, New Braunfels at 240, Floresville at 249, and Seguin at 290. So great job to our entire community, because public safety extends to more than just police and other things like community services, library, et cetera. And also, the police department wants to extend its gratitude for such a giving community As you know, we had 70-plus animals that were related to a cruelty investigation that we had to take into animal services, and the outpouring of support has been just incredible, so thank you for that. And then also a reminder from the police chief, school starts at SCUC next Thursday, or Thursday, August 14th. So please slow down, pay attention to the school zones, be patient, and stay off of your phone. And then lastly, I want to read just a quick note. We did have a water main break on Live Oak today. If you didn't happen to drive by and see it, it was pretty significant. And one of our residents sent a very nice email just saying thank you. I'd like to say thanks to all those employees involved in the quick repair of the water main break on the East Live Oak Road this morning. Great job. It's great to have water again. Roger Aston, and he lives on Live Oak. But I wanted to read that because every day it goes unnoticed to a large degree how great of a job and how responsive our public works folks are getting on water line breaks, sewer line breaks, et cetera. So great job, y'all. And that's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you.
for indulging me.
All right. Announcements and recognitions by the mayor. Oh, I just have a couple of announcements. As our city manager stated, we're the 87th safest city in the nation. We're not talking about just Texas or the surrounding area, in the nation. And that's a testament to our first responders, but also the community and our residents. Thank you for that. And also, as he stated, we are deeply moved by the outpouring of support from the community in support of the recent situation at our animal shelter. Your generosity, your compassion, and your swift action have made an incredible difference to the pets that we recovered, 70-something plus pets. I just want to say thank you for standing up with us, for showing what a united and caring community truly looks like. Thank you all so much for that. With that, we'll move on. For the record, could you state that at 6:09, Councilmember Westbrook arrived, okay? Next, we have the hearing of residents. This time is set aside for anyone who wishing to address the city council. Each person is limited to 3 minutes, and we ask before addressing the council, for the record, please state your name and address. We also have one public hearing scheduled today, and there is some options. You may speak at the hearing of residents, or you may hold off until the public hearing, or you may speak at both. The option is yours. With that, Mayor Pro Tem, please call our first speaker.
Sure, first one is Sheila Fetter.
Fetter, and I live at 108 Henry Ford Drive here in Schertz, and I'm talking about my commercial property on Ashley Oak Drive. I have a commercial lease. It's been the same lease for the past 25 years that I am to pay for the water and the trash, but my tenants are to haul their trash bins and recycle bins to the street. Okay, now with the new trash company, I have not been able to get very far with them because you're talking to a different person every time. They give you a different manager on duty who says, no, we don't do recycle for commercial property. Okay, so I do have a lease now that I'm not in good standing for, but I also have a photo of a business with a recycle bin out in front. Okay, that was for trash pickup on Monday. Okay, and with the cost of, the increase wasn't terrible for a residence. Okay, that was 33%. The actual percentage of increase for the commercial building is 635%. Okay, which I think is exorbitant, but and you have tenants in a lease. We want them there for 5 years. Okay, that's guaranteed income for me, but so I can't ask them to pay more because that's going on. But if there's any way to get a name and a person with Frontier that I can talk with But when you're talking to a different person and they don't know anything in doing, and most of them will just say, well, we're going to work on getting recycle for commercial buildings. It just hasn't happened yet. So I'm on a waiting list to be notified when it does, but I'd like to speak with somebody and see if we can't get it done.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
Oh,
Williams.
ma'am, if you would speak to Sarah Gonzalez right over there, she'd take your name.
That's who I was going to direct her to. No, that's fine. We were both thinking the same thing.
Next up is Christina Darta. Darta.
I'm tall. Good evening. My name is Cristina Dorta. I am here to present my nonprofit organization. I want to thank Mr. Ben Guerrero for the invitation. He was the one that let me know what I needed to do to come here and just present to you guys. Thank you so much. You have a folder just like this one. Hopefully, most of you can have one that have the organization, the information of my organization. You have a brochure, the financial agreement that we use for the families that we serve, and like a comparison of what regular special education advocates are charging right now, and it kind of provide a description of the why for our organization. I am a board-certified special education advocate by NASED, the National Association of Special Education Teachers, and the American Association of Special Education Professionals. When I decided to certify, before that, I was a teacher for 16 years, and I held an administrative position of 504 MTSS coordinator for 4 years. The struggle to fight for the special education rights in schools with the administration and trying to instruct the parents to understand the laws is very rough in schools right now, and that's why I decided to step out of school and start providing this knowledge to the families and instruct the family in equip them for them to be able to advocate for their own kids. Other than that, my organization is income-based, so we provide special education advocacy services depending on the income of the family. So that means that if you're low income, it will be at no cost, the services. So we will be providing the services at no cost for all those families that are low income. We go with them to the 504 IEP meetings or ARTS. We go over the evaluation, explain that to them. We sit down with the family, and whatever questions that we have, that they have during the process of the special education path of their child, we answer that for them and we support them in the process. Our organization is faith-based, so we also provide spiritual support to these families in need. If you go to the financial agreement, you can see the chart that we're using, which is this document. You can see that it will depend on similar to what they do with the food stamp and WIC, depending on the household, quantity of members, and the income of the whole family, it will be the deduction or the discount they will cover from the 100% of the services. So hopefully you have the folder, and hopefully if you have any, you can provide any support to my organization. You have my email, and thank you very much. Have a nice day.
All right, thank you.
Next up, Daniel Jameson.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, Steve Williams, City Manager, and the city staff. Again, Daniel Jameson, representing the VFW Veterans of Foreign Wars. And it's food time every third Saturday from 8 to 11. Cost $12. All you can eat breakfast. Councilman Brown, tell them how it is. Good food, good company. You can't beat it. cooked by your fellow veterans here in the community itself. So please come out and support your veterans of foreign wars who have served for your freedom, for that flag that you sit in front of. We've represented that flag in foreign countries, foreign lands, for the very freedom that we all serve. And I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next up, Richard Coons.
Good evening. My name is Richard Kuntz. I reside at 2960 Red Tip, Schertz, Texas. Here to speak to you as a resident of the city and speak about setting the preliminary 2025 tax rate. I've lived in the city for over 20 years, grown my family here. I've been very appreciative of the environment and the city services that we've been able to enjoy and the secure life that we've had here. And I can appreciate the fact of what the tax burden does to the residents here in the city. Again, being here over 20 years, I've seen my tax bill more than double over that time period in the home that I'm living in. And that's hard sometimes to deal with. But the benefits that we have received have far outweighed the cost. It's an investment when we look at our tax rates, look at what we are trying to provide for our citizens, and what benefit that gives them and the return that they receive. So I'm here to encourage you, as much as it is a difficult decision, increasing the tax rate to 0.5188 is necessary, and it is something that is going to benefit the citizens in the long term. It's a hard decision, especially when you're faced with people that are struggling day to day, but it's short-sighted to say, well, let's try to save a little bit now for them, but it's going to cost them more in the long run. It can cost them more in the long run in the services that can be provided to them, the safe environment that it can provide for them, but also eventually that bill will come and it will be at a higher cost in the future. So please take that into consideration in your deliberations. Thank you.
Next up, Robert Sheridan.
I just want to point out that Mr. Sheridan has been given 6 minutes. The individual behind him signed up also.
Good evening, Mayor, and good evening, council members. I am Dr. Robert Sheridan. I am with Greater Randolph Area Youth Soccer Association, known as GRACEA. I am a resident of Schertz, 1024 Kiana Place. We're here to share our vision for the future of the Schertz Soccer Complex. And now GRACEA is ready to manage and enhance and elevate this vital community resource. GRACEA is a nonprofit organization that has proudly served the Schertz in the local community for over 50 years. We provide youth soccer programs to more than 2,000 kids annually. We support over 200 volunteers. And by the way, also, she also contracts over 146 kids for referee oversight for our games from the local community, providing jobs. Our board brings more than 100 years of combined experience in youth sports leadership, game scheduling, tournament management, and facility operations. We are also financially strong with $200,000 in revenue. GRACEA has never been obligated to maintain the fields. I just wanted to kind of point that out. I want to make sure this is clear and understood. We are seeking council approval for operating and maintaining the Schertz Soccer Complex to better serve our community. This includes field scheduling, safety compliance, field upkeep, tournament coordination, and long-term planning, all at no added cost to the city. Unlike the other proposal that will require funding from the city budget, our plan is fully self-supported through tournaments, sponsorships, camps, and community partnership. There was a comment made that Grace is not bringing in the revenue, and that is incorrect. I want you to understand that we contribute more than 50% of SISA revenue by campaigning for tournaments to come to the city of Schertz and games played on SSC. We provide 100% of our games are played here in Schertz. Grace campaigns at the state association as a club to bring tournaments to Schertz Soccer Complex. Tournaments bring in hundreds of teams, and with them, they bring visitors who stay in our hotels, who dine at our restaurants, and shop at our local businesses here in Schertz. Grace maintain the field integrity and marketing for the tournament opportunities will generate substantial economic benefits for the city. And I want to add that, we can nickel and dime charging for games and practice and things of that nature, but that's not what brings the revenue in. I did a study which was provided to hopefully to the city council, and when we brought the lights on, showed you that the tournaments are bringing the revenue to the city through what I just mentioned, using the hotels, the restaurants, and shopping in the business here in Schertz. That's what's bringing the revenue and helping economic development here in Schertz. We're not just managing SSC, we're investing in it. We plan to enhance the facility with an outdoor speaker system, additional seating and shade, improve walkways for families, and eventually convert Field 12 into a stadium-like facility. Everything we do prioritize youth development, safety, community access, and excellence. Simply put, we know the community because we are part of it. We maintain the fields, schedule thousands of games, and build programs from the ground up. We are committed to transparency, community partnership, and delivering a facility that every resident of Schertz can be proud of. At the conclusion of my presentation, we confidently feel that Grace is the best partner to manage the Schertz Soccer Complex with passion, experience, and commitment needed to preserve those fields. I'm going to bring up Dora, who's going to bring you another side of, she was a member of the SISA Alliance. And then also I wanted to mention, since I got a little bit of time, that Delma Santa Cruz over there, these two are leadership in youth soccer in the community in Central South Texas. They help bring those tournaments to Schertz Soccer. No other club is doing that. And these two ladies are championing for those games to come, those tournaments to come here, which bring thousands of games. Thank you.
Dora Boyle, 2500 Klein Circle, Schertz, Texas. Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Dora Boyle. I've been a proud resident of Schertz since 1987. Since 2014, I served the Schertz Youth Soccer Alliance and truly appreciate the opportunity to speak to you tonight about the Schertz Soccer Complex and the Alliance commitment to supporting the youth soccer in our community. Let me start by sharing a little about the Alliance and how it works. Schertz Youth Soccer Alliance is in a partnership of 4 organizations. Schertz Park Board, which has 3 members and 3 votes. The Lions Club, 2 members and 2 votes. YMCA also has 2 members and 2 votes, and finally, Grace with 2 members and 2 votes. With less than 1/3 of total vote, Grace does not control the Alliance. All of our decisions are made collaboratively with a focus on mind and best serves the children and the families of our community. Also, during the budget hearing, a comment was made that Grace had every opportunity to maintain the fields. Grace has never been given the opportunity to maintain and operate the fields. With this, Grace's responsibility, the city has always coordinated and approved authority of all maintenance actions. I also want to address some of the recent concerns regarding the conditions of the fields and provide some content. After the installations of the new field lights, we faced some unexpected challenges. More than 120 irrigation lines and sprinkler heads were damaged. For 4 months, the fields had no water, no seeding, no access, which left the turf in poor condition. Early March, staff began repairs, completing more than 120 irrigation fixes just as the growing season began, and today continue fixing the irrigation system. Even with these challenges, our spring season kicked off on March 15th. Since then, the fields have supported 8 weeks of league play, state cup matches, and 4 major tournaments in April and May. Throughout the entire process, all maintenance and repair activities are coordinated and approved by the city. While sometimes cause timely delays, then we would hope our top priority has always been to keep the field safe and playable for the kids. I want to close by emphasizing why we do this. The Alliance and Gracia in particular exist to serve the youth of soccer, of Schertz. These fields are more than just grass and goals. They are where the children learn teamwork, resilience, and a sense of pride. We maintain committed to work hard for the city and all Alliance partnership and continue improving the fields and ensuring youth soccer in Schertz remains a source of opportunity, joy, growth in every child who steps on the field. Thank you for your time and your attention, and continue to serve the youth in our community.
Next up, Maria Dykes.
Good evening. My name is Maria Dykes, and I am the Guadalupe County Master Gardener Volunteer Coordinator for Gutierrez Garden Park. If you haven't made it out to the park, it's beautiful right now. If you didn't go out there in the spring, you missed out on the bluebonnets and the poppies that we had out. But it takes a lot of volunteers to keep the park beautiful. I don't know if you know this, but we have to hand water most of the beds. There's only 2 beds that thanks to the Parks Department, we got a drip system put in, but the other beds that we have, which is approximately 26, we have to hand water, and it takes a commitment of volunteers. I took over the position in January, and since then, I reached out to the Clemens High School Honor Society, and they were able to come out during the spring, and we had about 87 volunteers that came out on various occasions to help beautify the park. I wanted to remind everybody that you are invited to come, take pictures, to enjoy the nature, to also volunteer, because the park would not be going if it wasn't for volunteers. Any questions that you may have, you can contact me. I am the POC on the City of Schertz Parks website. It will take you directly to my email if you're interested in volunteering. But I wanted to remind everybody that if you do know of any organization that wants to volunteer or needs hours, to please reach out to me. This summer has been a challenge because we haven't had a lot of volunteers due to school being out, for one. And I don't know if you know this, but the park is a coalition between the city and also the Master Gardener organization that's based out of Seguin, the Guadalupe County Master Gardener. So we maintain the beds. And we've done a lot of great things out there right now. We've also introduced 25 new Texas Superstar plants, as well as we talk to the community that come by there to enjoy the park. So come on out there, and I'll probably be there volunteering. I'm usually out there every day, but Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays are our volunteer days. Tuesdays and Thursdays from 8 to 11 usually, and then Saturdays from 8 to 11 as well. Thank you for your time.
Next, Dana Eldridge.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Dana Eldridge, 2628 Gallant Fox Drive, Schertz, Texas, Belmont Park subdivision. Last council meeting, an individual got up here and glowingly praised about the Frontier trash pickup. I went walking around my neighborhood. I do that quite often. But last trash pickup, About the third of the apartments or houses had been picked up, and I counted over 20 trash cans that were resting on their lid, then at an angle with the lid down on the ground. They're not going to last long doing that. And probably another 6 or 7 were laying on their sides. We've got spots in a road where maybe it's from the truck going up the hill and all the fluids that are in it running to the back, leaving spots on the road, which then the flies like and all that kind of stuff. Last time I put my trash out, I was unpleasantly surprised by what was in my trash can. For 29 years, 19 years in Belmont Park, but for 29 years I've lived in Schertz. Never once in all my trash collections and putting my trash out for the people to pick up have I encountered maggots in my trash. We've got a new company, and all of a sudden I got maggots in my trash. It's not fun, people. It's a little concerning. So with all the glowing words about Frontier, we spent $40,000 as a city to find somebody to help us write the contract or get the contract done with the company. We had a company that for 7 years didn't raise their prices, but we didn't give them even an inclination to say, maybe that's the way we should go. We upped prices, but we lowered the service. If you're going to up prices, you ought to keep the service the same. So come the new budget, if you start considering pay raises for anybody or the 1% to 4% that you're looking at, look at it very carefully for the people who helped get this contract for Frontier.
Next, Barbara Palomo.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council. My name is Barbara, and I live at 700 Maple Drive. It's just in Val Verde Estates subdivision. It's just across the street from Schertz Parkway. And I'm here speaking for myself and some neighbors that live in my subdivision, Val Verde 1 and 2. And I provided this document with 9 copies for you to be distributed, so hopefully you have them. Robert, I know you came in late. You can have my copy. So these 2 items here that I outlined, the first page is a power pole that was left. It was taller than this at one point. It keeps breaking off, and I guess people keep throwing pieces of that power pole in the trash, but I have reached out to the city in different ways, code compliance, emails to the city manager, phone calls to different departments, asking to have these utility connections and the old power pole removed because it's just an eyesore in my neighborhood. And I think I'm going on just over a year, and all I get is we're working on it. So this is one thing I'm asking for your help on. The second page, if you turn the page 2, is another concern here. Again, I'm speaking for myself, neighbors, people that live in these neighborhoods and take this street often. That red roof there is a bed and breakfast, which we have probably 3 or 4 in our neighborhood. They're new businesses. The no parking sign is missing from that street. It's only 28 foot wide, and there's also no lighting, so when you drive through there at night, it's hard to see 3 or 4 cars parked there when they rent this place. Again, I've sent emails, code compliance, called the police, and you're not supposed to be parking there, and it can be dangerous at night. So I'm sorry. The first page, I'm going on almost 2 years. December 2023 will be the first time I made contact with the city. And then the second page, the second concern, I'm going on almost a year. So I'm asking for your help to get these 2 items addressed. And just asking for your help. I'd appreciate it if I could get contacted for a follow-up on that. Thank you.
Michelle Meehan.
Good evening, everyone. So I'm Michelle Meehan from the Guadalupe County Children's Advocacy Center. I'm the assistant director there, and just wanted to come and share some updates that have been going on for us this year. The National Children's Alliance signed 7 different MOUs with military installations, and we have signed on to those protocols to enhance the response and services to our military affiliated kiddos that come to our center, and that's really to make sure that we are meeting their special needs when it comes to being military affiliated, because they could be transferred, and so really continuing their service as they move. And so we had a meeting with OSTIC the other week, and so we are working on developing our relationships and just enhancing our services with our military families. So we also have a volunteer orientation coming up on Friday, August 29th at 11:30 at our Seguin office. So if anyone is looking for volunteer opportunities and you would like to just come and be a nice human with our kiddos when they're there for interviews, reach out to our center, either call or email us. And we also have a fundraiser coming up next month. It's called Let's Make Their Future Bright Bash. It's the first time we're doing this event. It's on Saturday, September 20th at 6 p.m. at the Schertz Civic Center. Tickets will go on sale August 27th, and they're $50. And this event, all of the proceeds raised go to support our strategic initiatives that we have going on at the center. So we appreciate all of the support. We will see you at our future things, and get ready for Pinwheels in April. So.
And Yolanda Purser? Okay, that'll be all for tonight, sir.
All right. Thank you. All right, we'll move on. Consent agenda items are considered self-explanatory, and information packets are provided to council and available for public viewing. These items require no separate discussion unless requested by council. First is item number 2, minutes. Item number 3, council member absence. Item number 4, appointments, reappointments, and resignations of City of Schertz boards, commissions, and committees. Item number 5, resolution number 25R096. Item number 6, resolution number 25R097. Item number 7, resolution number 25R098. Item number 8, resolution number 25R099. Item number 9, resolution number 25R094. And item number 10, resolution number 25R086. Council, do any of these need to be removed for separate action? Seeing no comment, is there a motion to approve consent agenda items 2 through 10?
So move.
Second.
We have a motion made by Councilmember Watson, second by Mayor Pro Tem Brown. Council, any other questions, comments? Please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 7 ayes, no objections. Motion passes. All right, we'll move on to discussion items. Item number 11, resolution number 25R012, resolution accepting the state-defined tax rates and setting the preliminary 2025 tax rate. Mr. Walters, floor is yours.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is James Walters. I'm the Finance Director here for the City of Schertz. That was not the right one. There we go. Full screen mode. So tonight we'll be reviewing the City of Schertz tax rates and how they were calculated out using the state of Texas guidelines, as well as asking Council to set a preliminary maximum tax rate, accepting the tax rolls, and we'll be scheduling the public hearing. So the 2025 property values came in as seen on the screen. So last year in 2024, we had a taxable value here in Schertz of $5.5 billion. Those same properties this year actually decreased to about $5.4 billion. Overall change of a decrease of $83 million. However, we did have some new development and annexations which added $254 million to the tax roll. Overall change of $171 million with a total taxable value for this year in 2025 to $5.6 billion. So as I mentioned, we had increases in the new construction annexation. However, for the first time in quite a long time, we actually had a decrease in residential homestead value. So Guadalupe County, where most of our residences reside, showed a $192 million decrease in value. We did reach out to the Guadalupe chief appraiser, and he mentioned that Guadalupe County as a whole was down about 6% for residential homesteads, where Schertz, Cibolo, and even Seguin all saw decreases of 6%, 7%, and 8%. We also saw an increase in the sale of veteran homestead exemption of about 8.6%. However, while this is a good as far as it has grown the least amount it has in the previous years, we also saw some DVHS retroactive adjustments. So some of these exemptions were awarded and made retroactive, which issued refunds for taxes paid by those individuals, resulting in a loss of about $675,000 for the general fund in the current year and affecting next year's roll. So a little bit more on the disabled veteran homestead exemption. So now in 2025, the total value exempt has now crossed $1 billion for the city of Schertz. If Schertz had taxed that amount at the current tax rate, it would be the same as adding $5.7 million of revenue to the city that could go towards programs and streets. And would be a tax rate of about 0.4091 instead of 0.49, so almost 9-cent decrease on the tax rate if we didn't go with the additional revenue. For 2025, 23% of homesteads have a DVHS exemption, and 55% of homesteads have some sort of DV exemption. Now, Schertz is not opposed to the exemption granted by the state. It is a great program, and when it was put in place, the state had set up a funding amount, knowing that retirees, disabled veterans would like to retire and settle in certain locations around military institutions as they do, and that could disappropriately affect certain individual cities and counties. So they set up an aid program to allow cities to recoup some of the funding lost. However, the program has not been properly funded since then, and other cities with high DVHS exemption has often gone for higher tax rates to compensate for the revenue lost. In 2025, the program had 3 new entities awarded, and in 2016, there were 4 entities. They requested $3.2 million, and the state budgeted $2.5 million for the reimbursement. So they still didn't even fully fund it in one of the first years it was available. In 2025, we're now up to 12 entities asking for aid from the state, requesting upwards of $54 million, and the state budget has only grown to $9.5 million. So again, the city of Schertz does believe the program is a very good program for the veterans, and we have been petitioning the state to increase the funding to match what they originally promised back when the program was first put in place. The DVHS, as far as the 7 cities that actually received DVHS aid, are listed here: Universal City, Fair Oaks Ranch, Copperas Cove, Schertz, Temple, Killeen, and El Paso, in order of taxable value. And you can see the tax rates by each of them. Schertz is right in the middle as far as taxable value from those affected and eligible for aid. However, you'll also notice that we are the second lowest tax rate in the group, with only being having a lower of Fair Oaks Ranch at 0.28, but we are just behind Universal City at 0.5144, with everyone else at 60 cents or higher. So we talk about the DVHS because it does have an impact on the amount of revenue the city can generate without putting too much burden on the rest of the citizens without proper funding from the state, which is what the city continues to ask for. So we take all those, we take the exemptions, we take the property values, and the state has us calculate a couple of different tax rates. The first one is the no new revenue rate. So this rate, which will generate the same amount of tax revenue for the city that it did the previous year on those properties that existed in both years. What that means was, last year, 2024 tax year, we have so much property values that generate so much tax revenue. Those same property values, as we saw, decreased. So the no new revenue tax rate will increase, so the city receives the exact same amount of property taxes from those properties. They also have us calculate a voter approval rate. So this is a rate calculated by the state that if council wants to go above, which council can, it would trigger an automatic election this November. However, if council approves anything under that rate, it would not trigger an election. I'll also show the current rate and the proposed tax rate on the next screen and tonight, which is the maximum rate that can be set before the final rate is adopted. You can adopt a rate lower than the proposed maximum tax rate, but you will not be able to adopt a rate higher than it without triggering additional public hearings and additional notices in the papers. So the current rate is 0.4900. The no new revenue rate is 0.5064. The voter approval rate is 0.5350. So the budget that was reviewed with council was balanced at the no new revenue rate at 0.5064. What we have talking about later tonight is the voter approval rate is 0.5350, which is the item on the resolution. And 1 penny is equal to about $573,000 of revenue, or about $33.18 per year on the average home. What that would look like on the individual tax rates, the M&O would go from 0.3326 to 0.3383. The M&O side of the rate is for day-to-day operations for PD, fire, streets. Then we have the INS, or interest and sinking. This rate goes only to pay the city's debt. It goes from 0.1574 to 0.1681. Overall, going from 0.49 to 0.5064. Here are the impacts of the tax rates on the tax bills. So the no new revenue rate is tax bill estimated at $1,680. And the no new revenue rate is the rate that the city will generate the same amount of money on property taxes that received a tax bill last year. So if you go with that one, there should be no increase in the overall tax bills that get sent out. The voter approval rate at 0.5350 would raise the average tax bill to $1,746, or about $95 annual increase, and would be a 5.6% increase on the tax rate. The proposed rate is at the 5064 in the original budget. It would be $1,680 and would not be a tax bill increase. And the current rate at 0.49 would actually lower the average tax bill to $1,625 or $26 and be a 54.42 annual decrease in the tax bills, or negative 3.2%. Just for clarification, the 9491, the highest rate that could go before council without triggering an election, actually turns out to be about just under $8 per month on the average month, if you save per month or have an escrow. The tax bills are based on the average taxable value of homes for 2025 that we received from the 3 appraisal districts at $331,834. And again, just to clarify, all the tax bills you see here and the bill increases are based on an annual amount. So I used to have a slide showing the overall breakdown of all the different taxing entities. So you could have a bill of about $4,500 as your overall tax bill. The Schertz portion is only $1,600, $1,700 of that. So if you look at the rates historically, the M&O that goes to maintenance and operations or general fund, this is historic of how high it's been since 2019 to 2025, where we're looking at now. On the INS side, we're at 2019 versus where we would be at for this next year. And the combined rate under the no new revenue rate from 2019 to 2025. So what does that tax rate give us at the no new revenue rate? The total budget was proposed at $53,731,933, slightly lower than the final amended budget for 24-25 after capital expenditures were taken into account. Personnel would increase by a couple $100,000 from the year-end projections for this year. Our operating, so our non-personnel, non-capital, would increase just slightly to $14,600,000 from $14.4 from the year-end projections. And the capital outlay, one of the ways we're funding some of our expanded programs is actually decreasing some capital outlays, some replacement for equipment out a year. We have consulted all of our fleet specialists, and we believe we can get by without some additional capital replacement for this year. What that goes to get us with the current no new revenue tax rate and with the changes in the budget that I was just showed, about $2.8 million of funding for supplemental requests, including Assistant City Secretary, the special election costs, utility rate increases that the city gets from other utilities, like gas and electric, postage increase for the magazine, credit card services increase, the EMS contract changes, SCBA replacements. Those are the firefighter breathing tank and equipment that you see when they go into a burning building. Staffing the firefighters, the remaining firefighters for Station 4. The Merit and Step program, which is a compensation program for employees that move us within a range. Cybersecurity upgrades, a PA system for the library, new security cameras and licenses, fire hose equipment, soccer complex operations, senior center operations, police radio renewals, so that's replacing the police radios, replacing network switches, software for police vehicle computers, upgrading the Microsoft and Adobe licenses that we have here in the A2 program. On the debt service side, the rate proposed would allow for these upcoming debt issuances, $6 million in 26-27, 14.8 in 27-28, $6 million in 28-29, and $40 million in 30-31. That's just what our debt payments would look like over time. What we would do is we would build up the reserves a little bit in the debt service fund for a couple years, and then when we start issuing some additional debt, we would use that debt service to help maintain a steady tax rate. The recommendation before council tonight in the packet is to establish the voter approval rate, 5350, as a potential maximum to be adopted. A lower rate may be adopted, as I mentioned, at the next meeting. However, you will not be able to set a rate higher than whatever rate you set tonight. So the final rate is scheduled for August 19th, 2025. And staff recommends the higher rate because it gives the council flexibility to pick different things, different scenarios for budget adjustments if council so desires. At the workshop, we talked about some different tax rate options. One being doing the no new revenue rate as presented, or adding one-time funding for streets and sidewalk funds, or moving the rate up to 5118, adding reoccurring streets and sidewalk funds. So instead of doing it 1 year, putting in reoccurring, or keeping that rate and adding a 1% COLA, a cost of living adjustment, which is different than the merit. The COLA will raise all of the pay tables up by 1%, and that will be the new starting amount for new hires, as well as increase all the range by that same 1%. So it would not be increasing 1% and increasing another percent. It would be a one-time bump in the overall pay tables. And then making the streets and sidewalks one time. Or we also talked about doing 5190, adding recurring streets and sidewalks and the 1% COLA. So what that would look like, the no new revenue rate, 5064, 0% increase. We talked about, I apologize, the $315,000 was for streets, traffic, and safety programs, and $100,000 for sidewalk safety improvements. The 5118 would be a 1.1% increase, a recurring of those two projects. The 5118 would be 1.1% increase for a reoccurring COLA, and then again for one time of the streets and sidewalks. And the 5190 would be a 2.5% effective increase in the tax rate, with $317,000 for the COLA, $315,000 for the streets, and $100,000 for the sidewalks. So again, these are the four options that council we're talking about during the retreat. And then again, staff is still proposing or recommending council set the maximum tax rate at the voter approved rate. If there is more discussion or other things want to be added, that gives flexibility to council to do so at the next meeting. But council may set a rate lower than it tonight. Just if that's council's wishes, they don't want to consider anything higher. That is fine. We can just make a motion setting the preliminary maximum tax rate, and we will update the resolution and post that rate in the ordinances or in the notices. Any questions?
All right. Thank you, Mr. James. If you can just back up one slide.
Sure.
Once again, the recommendation here is to set it at 5350 because there was so much debate as to where it should be, at 5064, 5118, 5190. So, and once again, when we set this rate, we cannot go higher than the rate that we set today. And that's why this 5350 was proposed. With that, we'll open it up for discussion. Council? Councilmember Guerrero.
I agree. It's with setting it right now at the .5350. I concur with that.
Councilmember Watson?
Okay, I am on for the increasing to 0.5350, but I do want to sit there and touch with the soccer. Is there maybe something that we can delay it for a year and, you know, at least a model, or?
We will say this item is for the tax rate discussion, and that particular item is not affecting the tax rate.
Okay.
Councilmember Brown, or Mayor Pro Tem Brown?
That's fine. Could you go back to the DV slide there? It shows how much we're not getting in the city. And I just want to kind of make a statement here to our citizens that we wouldn't be having any discussion on increasing tax rates if the state would be reimbursing us what they promised, even a part of what they promised us. Again, our offset, our taxes foregone is $5.7 million. And this is something that if everybody would write their congressman and their senator in the state, Senator Campbell and Congressman Representative Schoolcraft, to help us get that money allocated from the state in the annual budget and as a recurring basis. And what did we get last year?
The current year, we got about $690,000 after requesting $3.2 million.
Yeah, if you all heard that, we got $690,000 out of $3.2 million. That's a huge offset that the city is taking in and absorbing. You know, and again, nobody's arguing against the DV homestead exemptions. It's just that when the citizens voted for that back in 2013, I believe it was, the state had made the promise that they would be offsetting the losses to the cities that were hardest hit, those being adjacent to large military installations.
One thing, if I can, to address kind of Councilmember Watson's comment about the soccer. So as James mentioned, tonight is setting just the tax rate. On the 19th, when we come back to adopt the budget, Lauren is also going to be bringing a resolution to dissolve the alliance, and so we can have that conversation on the soccer on that night as well. But currently, the operation of the soccer complex is already in the budget as is, and so it's really just a discussion of the operation and maintenance of the field. So, but tonight for the tax rate, that's what we're asking council to set.
No, before, let's leave this slide up. I just want to make sure our residents know that the Disabled Veteran Program is a noble program. We're not here to debate the program itself. What these numbers are saying is that if we have received the assistance that the state promised, our rate will be at 40 cents, 40.91. And this council, and also the TML president, went up to Austin to advocate for the funding. We were unsuccessful. We are trying, but it takes quite a few of the state reps to pick this bill up and process it through, make it go through the process. But also, it's not just the program, because if we cannot provide the services, because even if you're 100% disabled and we are cutting back on police officers, These disabled vets are also impacted by what we can provide. So even if you're a disabled vet and you are 100% disabled, please help us advocate. Help us advocate to make sure that the state funds this program because it continues to grow. Last year, it was close to $5 million. Now we're at $5.7 million. And probably next year, we'll be over $6 million. And the impact it has on our city, it really does. I mean, we look at the programs we have to cut. Look at the increases, pay increases we have to forego because we cannot put the burden on the current citizens to increase this tax rate as high as we can. So please, it'll be up for discussion, I'm sure, in 2 years up at the Capitol in less than 2 years. But that is a time we need your help to advocate, to make sure the state funds the program that they implement it. Like I said, it is a noble program. We just need the funding. All right. Councilmember Hayward.
I also just want to add on to Councilmember Brown. If you live in Comal County, reach out to Kerry Isaac. And if you live in the Bexar County part and you vote for John Lujan, reach out to them. And it's never too early to reach out. Start reaching out now to them to let them know the impact on our city. And we tend to get something back. Our city, to the side of us, Cibolo, gets nothing back, and they get affected by this. And so the one thing that the state did do was increase it so that 5 other counties could participate in this program, but they're not funding it adequately. They always tend to tell you to come back to us because your property tax is too high. They forget to tell you that they send down unfunded or underfunded mandates that then the city has to come in and make the decision to increase the tax rate. It is not something that we cherish doing on the residents because the state isn't doing what they needed to do. With all the money, that surplus money they had, they could have allocated. I will tell you, we did, not only did I do it, we had lots of other council members. We even had the Northeastern Partnership talk about this because it impacts so many cities. So please understand that it is difficult as a council member to make those decisions, but we have to start trying to do something without kicking the can down the road. And again, reach out to your state reps now, because right now they're not in session. It's quiet. So the special session, it's quiet. Special session. It's gone quiet because people have left the state to not focus on something. So call them, email them, let them know that you just want them to be able to do this in the next regular session. That's all, Mayor.
Okay. Councilmember Guerrero.
I agree with Councilmember Brown and Councilmember Haywood. We definitely have to knock on the door on these state representatives because this is a lot of money. We have our city right here. Askew Road needs maintenance. Old Wiederstein Road needs to be widened. 1518 is ongoing construction. Main Street needs some maintenance. We need that money, and we need to knock on that door of these state representatives if we all have to do it. Otherwise, we're just going to be doing the same cycle over and over. And it's not like we're not producing because we have our first responders. We have our firefighters not only servicing the city of Schertz, but the surrounding areas. EMS, they're servicing more cities than just Schertz and 3 different counties. Police officers, they're providing the safety that we are asking for. They're number one. We are the number one safe suburb in the San Antonio surrounding areas. So our first responders are producing, our streets, our city needs maintenance. We need to knock on the door on these state representatives. Another thing, I don't want the surrounding cities paying their first responders more than ours. We have to have the top notch.
Now, as the council members have stated, that is the reason why we're looking at a higher tax rate. And with that, I want to go ahead and entertain a motion of setting the preliminary rate at what was it, number 53? 5350. Do I have a motion to set the rate at 5350?
I have a motion.
Second.
A motion made by Councilmember Guerrero and second by Councilmember Watson. Council, any other comments? Council, please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 6 yeas, 1 objection. Again, this is the max we can go. We cannot increase it, but we can lower it based on our discussion April 19th. And we welcome you to attend that meeting also. All right. Thank you, Mr. James. We'll move on to our next one. Resolution number 25R010, ordering the November 4, 2025 City of Schertz special election with Bexar County and making provisions for the conduct of the election, authorizing contracts with the elections administrator of Bexar County to conduct this special election and setting the first public hearing date for September 2nd, 2025, and the second public hearing date for September 16th, 2025. Right, Ms. Edmondson.
Thank you, Mayor, City Council, and staff. Tonight I bring forward Resolution 25R101, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, calling and ordering a special election for the submission to the qualified voters of a specific area pursuant to Section 43.0117 of our Texas Local Government Code. The question of whether such area is situated with the City of Schertz extraterritorial jurisdiction and within 5 miles of the Joint Base San Antonio-Randolph boundary should be annexed into the city, or whether the city shall be provided with the authority to adopt and enforce an ordinance regulating the land use in the area in the manner recommended by the most recent joint land use study. Providing for conduct and notice of election, designating November 4th, 2025 as the date of the special election, prescribing the form of the ballot, designating the polling places, providing a method of voting, providing for other matters related to such election, and providing an effective date. I did want to note Section 20 of the resolution. All ordinances and resolutions or parts thereof which are in conflict or inconsistent with any provision of this resolution, including Resolution 25R083, which was approved on July 15, 2025, are hereby repealed to the extent of such conflict, and the provisions of this resolution shall be and remain controlled as the matters ordered herein.
Thank you, Ms. Edmondson. All right, council, floor is open for discussion. Hearing none, is there a motion to approve resolution number 25R010?
So moved.
101, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yes. Councilmember Davis?
Yeah, since this resolution is only voted on by certain people, what mechanisms do we have in place to ensure that those affected people understand and are aware that they have the ability and the opportunity to vote on this option? I mean, generally, there's a ballot out there that's got everything for our district, our precinct, our city on it. But now this is one that specifically is addressed to certain people. It's a very small handful of people. So how do
They all need to be they all need to be notified by mail within 7 days from today. Am I correct?
Correct.
we will send them a certified letter?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Motion was made by Councilmember Hayward. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Have a second by Councilmember Watson. Any other comments? Council, please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 7 yeas, no objections. Motion passes. All right, we do have a public hearing today. Ordinance number 25S030, conduct a public hearing and consider a request to rezone approximately 4.64 acres of land from General Business District to Business District -2, more specifically known as Guadalupe County Property Identification Numbers 199114 and 199115, also known as 36 Maskey Road and 40 Maskey Road, lots 1 and 2, Block 1 of Maskey Road Business Park Subdivision, City of Schertz, Guadalupe County, Texas. Mr. Willingham, floor is yours.
Good evening, Council, Mayor, Mr. Williams. Ordinance 25S030, a proposed zone change to GB2 on Maskey Road. William Willingham, planner. For your orientation, this is the subject property's aerial view. You can see that the property is currently zoned as GB, as well as the property adjacent to it, and then the other properties adjacent to it are currently zoned as GB2. The property is currently undeveloped at this time, as are the adjacent properties, with some office warehouse uses to the south of this property. It is also located along the frontage of Maskey Road and FM 1518. Notification: 10 public notices were sent out on June 18th, 2025. We have only received one response, which was in favor of this zone request. A public hearing notice was published in the San Antonio Express prior to City Council. A notification sign was placed on the property by the applicant, and JBSA has been notified of the request and affirmatively recommends approval. So, background of the zoning change request: this is the current and proposed zone change. You can see once again that the property is GB, changing to GB2. Background of the site and context: so the site is located within the Accident Potential Zone 2, or APZ2. The intention of the APZ is to ensure that there's compatible land uses between JBSA and the City of Schertz. We want to make sure that what's developing out there is not jeopardizing the mission of JBSA. And so with that, JBSA has an approval requirement that's set out in section 2159 of the UDC, which requires JBSA to respond to us with an affirmative recommendation of the zone change request. So you can see a portion of that letter just screenshot there. JBSA affirmatively recommends approval of the zone change. The site in context: once again, you see the zone change request. That is an aerial view and the current conditions of the site. Undeveloped at this time, you can see in the aerial view, once again, that GB2 is kind of expanding towards that direction. That's that office warehouse use. Zoning district requirements: so between GB and GB2, they actually have the same dimensional requirements, so nothing is changing there. What is changing is within the permitted use section, which is just expanding some of those uses, as GB is just not as intense as GB2. So the request is for that office warehouse distribution center, and that is what is permitted within the GB2 district. UDC section 2154D, criteria for approval: whether the proposed zoning change implements the policies of the adopted comp plan or any other applicable plans. So the comp plan is a guiding document for the long-range vision of the city, and it is establishing an industrial hub at this location, which is intended for manufacturing, processing, and distributing. General Business 2 is intended for light industrial developments to serve the entire community, and it is compatible with industrial hub. 2, whether the proposed zone change promotes the health, safety, and welfare of the city. As part of promoting health, safety, and welfare, the city should encourage development compatible with surrounding uses, utilizing standards and transitional uses to alleviate negative impacts. So once again, this location is within the APZ2, which requires JBSA to approve that or recommend approval, which JBSA has provided that letter and affirmatively recommends approval of the request. 3, whether the uses permitted by the proposed zone change will be consistent and appropriate with existing uses in the immediate area. So as we can see there in the zoning exhibit, once again, what's existing out there is currently GB or GB2, so they're just transitioning to another GB2 district. Right now it's currently undeveloped, as are many of the properties out there, but kind of lending themselves to that office warehouse flex space. And 4, whether other factors are deemed relevant and important in the consideration of the amendment. All UDC requirements have been met for the proposed zone change, and the Schertz Fire, EMS, and Police Departments have been notified of the request and have not provided any objections. Staff recommendation: due to the character of the surrounding area, the consistency with the comp plan, and the affirmative recommendation of the proposed zone change from JBSA, staff recommends approval of Ordinance 25S030. Commission recommendation: the Planning and Zoning Commission met on July 2nd, 2025, and made a recommendation to approve the requested rezone with a 6-0 vote to City Council. And the applicant is here.
Would the applicant like to say a few words? No? Okay. All right. Okay, this is a public hearing. The time is 7:20. Is there anyone in attendance who would like to address the council in reference to this subject? If you do, please, the mic's up here. Step up and address the council. Going once? Going twice? All right. Public hearing is closed at 7:21. I just have one question. I was looking at the packet. I don't see the letter from JBSA Randolph. I see the recommendation you put in here. Why don't we get the actual letter as part of the package?
If it's not included in there, we can definitely include it in the future. I do have a copy here if you'd like a copy. Yes,
please. All right, council, questions? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve ordinance number 25S030?
So moved.
Second.
A motion made by Councilmember Davis and second by Councilmember Watson. Council, any other comments? Please cast your vote. We can publish the vote, please. We have 7 yeas, no objection, motion passes. All right, we'll move on to item number 14. It's a workshop, the August 2025 quarterly streets updates. Mr. Novak.
So can I offer one comment really quickly before we get started? So a year or so ago, I had asked engineering and public works to give an update on the streets, since street maintenance is our #1 priority. And so in the budget process, it has been for the last couple of years. I'm sorry, #2 priority on the list that you see. So this is to update you and kind of show progress. And so just as a reminder, that's why they're up there doing this each quarter. So.
Sir, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is the quarterly update. This is the 3rd quarter of the year. And so we'll get started. This is just a screenshot of the dashboard, sorted for the last 3 months, so you can kind of see the totals here. Again, pothole category is always the biggest number. Street issues, those are generally larger than the square by square, or the square yard by square yard area, yard by yard. Sidewalk issues, that's general concrete issues taken care of. Those are instances, not necessarily quantity, so it might be bigger or smaller. Just kind of wanted to show you how many projects we work on. And then 67 other issues, that's a number of things. It could be crack sealing, it could be new sign placement, sign replacement, other issues like that. Just to give you a quantity of other items we take care of. Also, just update on the sidewalk inventory dashboard. It's another thing we got on the website in the last year. It just kind of shows you the sidewalk sections and the biggest reason, the question had come up about the missing sidewalk sections. So you see there's about 125,000 feet so far of missing sidewalk sections in the city. So far we haven't quite went through all the developed roadways yet. And undeveloped roadways, and again, this is available on the website as well, the Streets and Drainage main page under Public Works. To get down to the quarterly update, crack sealing. So this quarter we completed 4.35 miles, and then you kind of see the areas that were worked on as well. Just kind of mention that obviously it's been pretty rainy, so it kind of impacts street work as well. We spend a lot of times on smaller issues like potholes and that, and so Our goal for the year is pretty steep, but this is the 4.35. You'll see some totals here in just a minute for the year. Street issues, 21 instances of those, and potholes, 343. You can kind of see the amount of product we use in different cases. UPM, again, is kind of our patch material. That's one we've always used. Gets laid in the hole and just as it cold, and then gets rolled in. And then the big push we've done is try to get a more permanent fix, so using hot mix with the truck, let us get in the last year. And so you can see in this quarter we use almost 100 tons of asphalt, hot mix asphalt. Did quite a bit of striping also. That should be 0.91, apologize, but over in a few areas. And this is a big time year for striping for us once we kind of get into the hot summer months. This is just show you the dashboard for the entire year. So this is sorted through from October 1 through the end of that third quarter reporting period of June 30th. So over 1,200 potholes, 59 larger street issues addressed, and then 42 sidewalks and other issues. There's 36. Just wanted to give you a breakdown of the 3 quarters. So this is a 3-quarter, again, sorted. You can kind of see our goal was, our goal is actually to work ourselves out of doing potholes, right? So as we do more permanent repairs, hopefully we don't have to return to those areas. That's why we got the hot mix asphalt truck. We can keep it hot. We can apply it hot. It's a more permanent fix. And so that number is going down, and my hope is that number continues to go down. It's a very wet year, so we had to do a lot. Still using UPM just because we have to react after rain events or major potholes in areas where it's just the roadway is deteriorating fast enough where we can continue to fill the potholes until we can get a larger permanent fix. You can also see that, so in the first quarter of the year, we did some larger streets maintenance projects. The second quarter, we were concentrating on potholes and some other issues. And again, this quarter, we were able to do some larger street issues, so larger asphalt patches that as well. And a big concentration on crack sealing and signage and other things. With the wet weather, we just weren't able to get out there and do some of the other things. Again, just the totals for the year, that's over 1,200 potholes. We have used 51 tons of the UPM, but you can see that almost 400 tons of asphalt, and that's, again, through June 30th. We're doing some major projects currently, so come back to you at the beginning of the fiscal year, that number will probably jump up quite a bit. Street striping 7.76 miles, and then crack seal, we're just over 10 miles for the year.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Why doesn't the sun trust umbrellas? Because they're always so shady. Okay, here to talk about some of our active street projects. Our 2024 SPAM resurfacing project, that's the slurry seal work, that's fully complete, paid all our bills, done, move on to the next one. Our rehabilitation project is expected to start within the next couple of weeks. We have different areas that we're working on. We have one street, St. Andrews, up in the Northcliffe area, the entire length of Maple Drive, and streets in the Silverwood area. These are streets, particularly in the Silverwood area, that were previously included in a resurfacing project, but when we went out and started doing the field work, we discovered they deteriorated beyond just resurfacing, and so that's why they're in this other project. '25 SPAM projects. So we've got more resurfacing we're going to do. This is a slurry seal, and that project is in design right now. We are expecting to get it out to bid here hopefully soon. The plans are getting close to being done on both this one and the Kramer Farm Rehabilitation Project. And we'll probably not see construction start till close to the end of the fiscal year, and it will carry over into next fiscal year. But the areas we're focusing on are Woodbridge, which is on the east side of Schertz Parkway, the Village, and Rio Vista. And we're also going to go as far as we can with the available budget we have for this project in the Jonas Woods subdivision. So the intent is to focus on trying to get all the prep work done, all the base repairs, the crack seal, asphalt level ups, all that, and we'll slurry seal what we can until we run out of funding. The streets that aren't fully completed this year will be put in the next resurfacing project so we can complete that subdivision. Kramer Farm, so we could fit within our budget, we weren't able to do the entire subdivision in one project, so we're doing a western portion of it. It's less than half of the subdivision, and that's on the same track. They're on design. We expect to get those out to bid and get the work started as quickly as possible. We would look to do the other, or the remaining part of Kramer Farm with an upcoming rehabilitation project. Buffalo Valley South. This project is underway. It's currently slightly ahead of schedule. Don't want to jinx myself. They're anticipating getting this project finished towards the end of December. On the graphic there on the right, the area that is shaded in kind of the purple color, that represents the area where we have fully completed the new water main and sewer main installation. And as of the end of today, the contractor is reporting that also in that project area, all of the residents in that project area are connected to and receiving service from the new pipes. So now that the under month, early September, another crew will come in and they'll start doing the street rehabilitation on that section of the subdivision. So as they complete the utility work, they'll follow that up with the street work. Kind of orange colored area represents an area where both the water main and sewer main has been installed. The green area, the sewer main has been installed, the water main's closing in on it. And so that's where they're kind of working right now. Schertz Forest, which is in southern Schertz, that's represented by the other picture. This is a combined project where we're doing street work and water line replacement. That's currently in design. Banig from Seguin Road to Greytown is also in design. We're expecting to be reviewing the plans on both of those projects in the next week or two. And we've already done an initial review on the Banig project and provided comments to our consultant. So that one we're expecting to get out to bid fairly soon as well. Lower Seguin Road, plans are at 95%. We've applied for the federal DCIP grant. We turned our application in on July 3rd. Preliminary results are expected at the end of this month. If we make that short list, then we go through a secondary process in the month of September. And towards the end of September, we expect to find out whether we're funded or not. The Main Street project, we're still working through some utility conflicts. I know I sound kind of like a broken record with some of these updates on that project. There's just a lot of stuff to have to work around in that corridor. And we're trying to get all of that pinned down so we can finalize our water and sewer main replacement plans. We also have to coordinate with TxDOT as part of that work. The utility replacement extends into their section. And we expect to start this fall the full court press on public outreach and easement acquisition for that project. Lookout Road, we're acquiring the right-of-way we need to do the widening at the Schertz Parkway and Door Lane intersections. And there's a section of sewer main that we're increasing the diameter a little bit beyond what our initial size was to make sure we've got adequate capacity. And that's requiring us to do some additional coordination with CCMA and Selma because we're having to extend into their jurisdiction to make a tie-in point so the grades work. North Cliff Country Club Estates. It's a project that some may say, about time, we're finally getting to it. This is another combined project like the Buffalo Valley South project where we started the design. We're just getting started on that one, but it involves replacing the water and sewer lines and rehabbing the streets. Last project, just to kind of remind you of, is the FM 3009, FM 78 overpass project. That's a TxDOT project. Don't have really anything new to report since the last update on this one. They are continuing to refine the schematic and working on environmental clearance. They don't have them scheduled yet, but they're planning to do some additional public outreach meetings on that project, and they have applied for ample funding for it. That's all I have. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to do my best to answer them.
Thank you. All right, council, questions? No questions. All right, thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. All right, we have item number 15, which is the monthly updates, major projects in progress, and item number 16, update on the Schertz Home Energy Efficiency Program and the relaunch of it. These are information packets that were provided to council and available for public viewing at our website, schertz.com. With that, council, any possible updates or information requested from staff? Seeing none, all right. Council, any possible items you'd like to place on the future agenda? All right. Announcements by council members. Mayor Pro Tem Brown.
Just the great budget retreat on Friday. Good stuff.
Councilmember Davis.
Nothing tonight, sir.
Councilmember Watson.
Just the budget retreat and that it's all tonight.
Councilmember Macaluso.
Nothing tonight.
Councilmember Guerrero.
Yes, I attended the annual Balcony Heights Jazz Festival. That went well. Attended the first half of the semifinal championship soccer game at the Schertz Soccer Complex. Visited the senior center here at the YMCA with the seniors, talked to them for a while. Attended the opening ceremonies for the annual Guam Liberation and the budget meeting.
All right, Councilmember Westbrook.
Yes, Mayor. I attended the American Diabetes Association Executive Breakfast and the 10th anniversary Schertz Cibolo Emergency Clinic celebration and the budget retreat.
And Councilmember Hayward.
Yes, I attended Melissa Ewellhorn's retirement ceremony. I did the emceeing the newly elected orientation for TML in San Antonio. I attended the TML IRP board meeting in San Antonio. I did the council budget retreat, and I also attended the Mayor Janisha Grider of Kirby, her swearing in. That's all.
All right. All right, thank you. All right, the time is now 7:38. We stand adjourned.